And hello, all you folks out there, YouTube land. Lord of the Crocker Squirrels here with the Snark Patrol. Say hello, Snark Patrol.
Whoa,
Snark
little
Patrol,
quick to the trigger
Snark
there,
Patrol.
Ace.
Little quick on which trigger?
Beep boop bop.
Yeah, anyway, hello, Snark Patrol.
Yeah. Okay.
What are you hearing?
This is what you get for not paying attention there, Mr. Mr. Snarky. Ember, you need to turn your TV down a bit, or back away from it. One or the other.
Yep.
Good. I should be able to hear myself clearly.
I've turned it down.
I can still hear
don't
myself
worry.
clearly.
Okay.
I think Squirrel can only handle hearing me once.
See, unlike some people, I don't like the sound of my. Unlike a small handful of people, I don't actually like the sound of my own voice played back at me. I do not sound right in any way, shape, or form. All right.
Well,
So-
if it goes any lower, it will not. If it goes any lower, it.
She won't be able to hear it at all. Yeah, no, fine. I'm not hearing the echo now, so that's the important part. Because that actually winds up on the stream on the stream for later, and it drives people nuts. So we are gathered here today to pay our last respects to the games of 2021. We covered more than 300 games this year. Not all of them were new. Were new to 2021 at least. Some of the we covered a few DLC. We did a bunch of we don't give a shit streams. But over the entire thing, we actually managed to cover just over 300 games. And then I posed to them last week a question: pick the five best and the 5 worst that we had talked about during 2021. And I didn't get some of the votes until late last night. Oh yeah, it took everybody a while to get that sorted out.
Yeah, I missed the notification. In my defense, I didn't get notified that.
Well,
the
you weren't
Snark
the only
Patrol was
one.
meeting.
You weren't the only one I had to poke at. And then we had yesterday we had a longer meeting to determine who was actually going which of the games that we all came up with we're going to wind up on the stream. So we have a total of 12 out of the more than 300, which still leaves us with over 300 games that we're not talking about today. They're going to go with holy crap. We actually don't. We're not actually, given the number of games that we have to talk about, we're not actually going to be able to get a whole bunch of stuff in the news category. Aside from Jack Murphy's a cock that has decided to burn all the bridges. Turns out he has more. Turns out there was more shit in that closet than anybody had thought possible.
Yeah, all we had to do is remove the 10 inches of silicone from his rear.
I have some news, though.
What you got?
Fuck you, 2021.
Yes.
Well, apparently Alex Jones has decided he will refuse to comply with the House subpoenas or the House's requests for stuff regarding the January 6th incident.
Well, considering if they're trying to that the legislature at this point is trying to exert executive power, no, they're going to try and turn this into criminal charges, and they can't do that. They're not permitted. They are not an enforcement arm, and the judiciary doesn't actually have to listen if they do shit like that. So, yeah. Executive power cannot be vested in the Congress by the Congress. That's just all. So without Mr. Biden to tell them that they're allowed to signing some sort of order saying that they're allowed to exercise executive power, which would be shot down immediately as unconstitutional, because we still do have that funny piece of paper that everybody seems to want to use for butt wipe these days.
Mm-hmm.
The January 6th thing doesn't even have a piece of legislation as a committee, doesn't have a piece of legislation they're supposedly working on. They didn't even give us. They didn't even make an attempt to get it to look right. But for a committee to be formed at all, they are actually required to have such a thing. There should be some valid legislative process.
Yeah, I say, how about they go after the people that had all the people that had the identical blowhorns that were routing and organizing people?
Yeah, I know, right? What's up with that?
Those people. I mean, they haven't even showed up in court. I mean, they haven't even shown up in the jails. Huh. And yet there's lots of footage of them organizing stuff.
Of course.
I mean lots of footage.
Considering that the supposed Whitmer kidnapping plot looks like it was a dry run for January 6th. So, and then Alex Jones his own damn self was out there with the bullhorn telling him to stop. Don't do that, you're playing right into their hands. This is what they want you to do. Don't go there.
And then I want to give a real Jeff you to 2021. Betty White passed away yesterday.
Yes, that was another piece of news. She just couldn't make it. She just couldn't make it to 2022, which is kind of sad in one way, but yeah, just a few days short of her 100th birthday. That probably would have been a nice milestone for her. But on the other hand, Twitter will be a quieter place now. Not much, but some. One down, 10 million to go. That's what I say, folks. Oh, sorry. Oh, that was horrifyingly disrespectful. No, really. I could before Tumblr shut down their before. I am waiting at this point for Twitter to completely put the kibosh on adult content. That'll drive them all off. That'll drive the Tumblr folks off to Flakebook. Because Flakebook can take the hit.
Yeah, it may drive them to OnlyFans, but I think I don't know about if fans will be able to give them the content that they're looking for, but
they already do.
Well, that's what happened. That's actually what happened to Twitter. Tumblr said, "Nope, no more adult content. Sorry, folks. We're trying to raise money," and they all left. Well, it killed Tumblr in effect. But what we wound up with was Twitter being infected by all of the bullshit. Twitter was actually okay till then. All right. Opalina says that Opalina over here saying that she sounds nothing like the voices in her head. Well, that sounds like a personal problem there, Opalina. All right. So, how's about we move along here, rather than talking about Biden implosions and social justice warriors not being around anymore, and we're going to get on to talk about some games, as frankly we're short on time. All right, so let's try a scene switch here. Let's do that. Okay. So, we're going to begin with an honorable mention before we start counting down the 5 best games. Let's do this. Our honorable mention for this time is Tandem. If anybody remembers, we covered Tandem not once but 3 different times in various states. as embargoes were released and etc. This game was, in my opinion, rather innovative, and that's a word that I rarely use for a reason. Between little Emma and her bear sidekick, we actually had a combination of platform and puzzles. It was actually quite entertaining. Needless to say, I've actually been through almost the entire game at this point. It's it's gone well. Anybody else have any comments for it?
Tandem's not exactly the kind of game that's, for me, and I admit that.
But you got to admit, the other thing you have to admit is these critters were cute.
Yeah, they were cute.
The art was well done.
I agree. They actually managed to get. You actually got some interesting things that you could do with shadows and stuff to make things to get things working. So, yeah, they put a lot of effort into this, and they managed to get it out on time, which in my brain was even better. They had a set schedule that they had to keep, and actually they got it out. They got it out and all set up ahead of time. So I kind of like that thought.
In other words, they managed to do what hardly any game company thus far has managed to do.
All right.
I mean, it's not the unique thing was the use of shadows, but there's been a lot of puzzle games. They just had a very good presentation. So.
Yeah, this one had a very good presentation. Was actually well set up. All right.
Which is not an easy trick to pull off, I take it.
No, it's really not.
Not always, no.
Impressing this pile is kind of hard. All right. Number 5. All right. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning Fatesworn. And this is actually a screenshot. For the record, though, I stole all the screenshots. I stole all these screenshots. I stole them. I'm shameless. Please don't kill me. All right. And I think I'm going to hand this one over to Ember. What did you think? Because you were the one that nominated this, if memory serves.
Yeah, I was. And this one was oddly satisfying. Like, I managed to complete the first quest before I got a little burnt out and needed a break. But, like, the quest itself was interesting. The story was well written, I'd say the story thus far has been very well written, and you get to have a chance to be incredibly snarky with a border guard and get away with it.
Ooh!
It's all away.
Border guards, snarky at border guards. There's a thing. There's a thing that's been on my list forever. One of these days, I'm going to do that. Maybe while I get maybe when I get them to reject my application to go into Mexico. I'll be snarky at the border guards on both sides. The one from the United States, like, get the fuck out of here. You need to be on the other side of the border, you snarky bastard. And the one on the Mexican side is going to go, no, you'll go back, no. She'll go back over there. They have to take you. Wait, now my Mexican sounding a little. Yeah, fuck it. It sounds way too Chinese. All right. Any other opinions from the panel?
Well, I really enjoyed it myself.
Yeah.
I don't think you got a chance to. I don't think you've gotten a chance to play the expansion there, Opal. Did you?
I'm up to the point where the expansion would kick in, so.
Oh well,
I'm gonna get the expansion at some point. I just have to upgrade my system first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So this is good. That was kind of a thing. All right. Anybody else? Tornado. I don't know if you actually watched the gameplay we did. Did you get a chance to do that?
I don't think so, but
No.
still, from the sounds of things, it sounds kind of funny. But I'm not sure if it'd be the kind of game I'd be interested in. Sadly, then again, not much is.
You actually seem to prefer building. You're like Opal. You prefer building games.
Yes, I do, because they're soothing.
The sad part of it is we only actually got one building game on. We actually only have one building game on our list today.
Too bad I couldn't nominate Dyson Sphere Program.
Well, I don't
that.
have a copy. We couldn't have, so we couldn't have played it. I'm not even sure when Dyson Sphere Program officially released. So
This year, actually, or
was it
I
this
should
year?
say last year now.
well, okay.
Well,
We're still talking about it was a 2021 release that I didn't get a chance to get. I did actually request a copy of Dyson Sphere Program and was told to get bent. A direct quote from an email, mind you. Get bent.
Really?
Yes.
They actually said that?
Yeah, somebody from that direction told me to get bent. I'm gonna go with okay, fine. That's the way you want to play it. All right.
They flat out told you to get bent.
Yeah, that's the quote.
I have to see this email.
If I can find it, I'd have to go looking.
Please do. I gotta see this.
Alrighty then. So, any other commentary? How about you, Sanji? You've been mighty quiet. You need to stop that.
I've been quiet for a reason. Kingdoms of Amalur is something of a game that really lends Skyrim with the EA approach of developing video games.
Except not made by EA.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not made by EA.
Well, the lack of loot boxes is a big tip off.
Yeah, I know, right? Kingdoms of Amalur. The original game was released way back in the preteens. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. We're actually talking about the DLC alone at this point, and this is not the only time we're going to do that.
Oh, but Opal, it's not loot boxes, it's surprise mechanic.
Oh God! Oh, that was some shit from last year. Holy! You're telling the UK, you're telling Parliament in the UK that no, it's not a loot box, it's a surprise mechanic. No, it's a go around loot box. Get with your freaking program.
6 of one, half dozen of another.
I have to give the lady from EA some props for quick thinking. Even if it was as obvious as the nose on our faces.
That she was lying.
Well, no, she wasn't lying. She was just reframing. And that reframing was completely retarded. Yeah, EA didn't make this.
You know, like any good CRT advocate.
Your Kindred surprise, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
Anyway, EA didn't make this game.
Yeah, this isn't Chinese chicken surprise here. We're not talking about that. Okay. So, who is interested in the number? Who is interested in the number 4 slot?
He said slot.
Oh. Okay, so anybody got a guess as to what came in at number 4? Fourth best.
I know.
Skydrift Infinite. This was actually a very popular sort of vote. I was not as fond of this game as the rest of you guys were. This is airplane racing that we squirreled up, that got completely squirreled up the first time we talked about it. And we had to do it again the following live stream because, yeah, kind of hard to tell you what the game's about when I haven't actually shown you anything. You're just listening to us talk. That was that. That was my.
Oh,
okay. Hey, Amber, don't give up your day job. Okay. It isn't murder.
Sorry,
it's life cancel culture.
I think of Skydrift, and it's like Mighty Wings.
Ooh. And I now owe you an apology there, Ember. I thought that was you and not the tornado. Either way, don't give up your day job. Okay.
I don't have one. So,
all the more reason to not give it up. Either that or you need to practice a lot more. Okay.
Fuck you.
You're welcome. All right. So, Opal, you were the big advocate for this one. Why?
It just stunned me. You know, like, I normally don't like normal racing games, but I love Mario Kart style games. And when Skwerl put this in front of me, I thought it would just be, a standard style racing game, but it turned out to feel more like Mario Kart, and I just fell in love with it because how much turning you could do, and all the little weapon surprises and everything like that, and damn, they just put a lot into it. Because I don't know, I find that the Mario Kart style ones have the feeling of freedom. There's this freedom, and when I play a game, I like freedom. Where when you play a racing game, you feel like you're just trying to stay within this narrow window. And so I loved it.
Alrighty then.
Don't know what else to say beyond that.
Racing games are generally boring anyway.
Well, you get we tend to get more racing simulators than not around here. Racing sims they tend to turn up quite often. And more than a few of them have been rejected. So, yeah, mostly because racing sims, while some of them can be fun to play, they tend to not end well in terms of live streams. So, I mean, unless you're super good at it.
Why do you say that?
They don't like. We've never actually done all that well with simulator live streams.
Simulator or racing?
Both. Because most racing games are in fact simulators.
Yeah. That is true.
Nobody wants to go to the trouble of doing fantastic shit with them.
And plus, when you're doing a true racing game, by this point, I think 90% of the mechanics is already managed to be done in the vast majority of games. The only thing you're looking at is the coat of paint, the skin of the car or the model of the car, and when everything else is the same.
You're talking about all else being the same. Gran Turismo was the A-list candidate. Between that, and the one that and the game the two games that did the most to popularize racing games. Three games actually: Pole Position, Ridge Racer, and Daytona USA. They were not expecting Daytona USA to do very well, and it turned out to be one of the most profitable things Sega ever did.
The PlayStation 3 will retail for $599 US.
Okay.
But it can't. But we're releasing the next Gran Turismo game on it. And everyone's like, "Fuck!" Because it won't. Because we couldn't get it packed down tight enough for yeah. Gran Turismo. I think it was Gran Turismo 4 that wound up selling that wound up being one of the bigger killer apps for the PlayStation 3. But Skydrift Infinity is Mario Kart in the air. At least that's what at least that's the impression I'm getting. Never mind that I hated that game the first time out. It drove me nuts because I could not figure out the airlines.
Yeah, whereas me, I was piloting like a pro from the get-go.
Yeah, that's because you're a critter. You do.
A what?
You're a critter. Of course, so are we all. But that's not the issue. We are all critters. In fact, everyone that can I'm pretty sure that everyone that can fully comprehend what I'm saying is an ape. To a first order approximation. So, the dog might understand a couple words. Sit. All right. Definitely understands that word.
I'm going to cycle my drink.
Ooh. All right. So we are more or less on schedule. Let's have the next game, shall we? Anybody interested?
Ooh. Let's go.
Sure. All right. Say bye-bye, Skydrift Infinity. And enter Final Fantasy VII Remake's intermission. We are not talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake itself, just the intermission that was released this year, back in June for back in June for the PlayStation 5. PlayStation 4 players got kind of screwed if they hadn't managed to put their hands on a PlayStation 5. This game was actually the whole game was recently released over on Epic Game Store, and it did pretty well.
Yeah, this game was definitely not my favorite.
Well,
I loved it. I'm just glad that it's going to be coming to Steam after I upgrade my system, so I can get it as soon as it comes out on Steam.
yeah, because the Steam stuff is actually already on board. The Steam 64.dll. Yeah, it's already in. They've done all of the as far as I can see, they've done all the integrations for Steam, but they have an extra for Epic, so. It might actually be possible to port. What?
You can't fault the developers for not catering to enough people. That's for damn sure.
That's right.
But we got, and actually everybody hated on Yuffie all those years ago. Everybody hated on Yuffie, and me, I actually rather liked her. So seeing Yuffie in her own, seeing Yuffie get some more character build was actually fun for me. Too bad what happened to her partner though.
Yeah. The only character I liked the least was probably the Cat Sith one, but even at that, I still like the Cat Sith one.
Well, Kate Sith, aka Reed, because I'm pretty sure everybody that bought it that's buying Final Fantasy VII Remake is already well and truly familiar with the Midgar section, and somewhere towards the end game where Kate Sith actually outs himself as the urban planning. The head of urban planning For Midgar, a gentleman by the name of Reeve. Well, you was in response. Hey, I'm trying to help here. I was also impressed to have gotten a chance to meet during Final Fantasy Remake Mayor Domino, because he was just there at one point. But
Number 3 on the list.
What was that? Tornado Pelt?
What's number 3 on the list?
This is number 3. And funnily enough, we're actually running slightly ahead of schedule. We've still got like 5 minutes to chat about this one. Was there anything in particular anybody really liked, or, well, in Ember's case, he actually put this one up for worst, simply because he's not a big that he's already stated why. So.
What was that Tornado Pelt?
And then I bumped it off my list to make room for number 1 worst.
Oh.
We're talking about Final Fantasy, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We're talking about Final Fantasy VII. The intermission portion.
Yeah, the intermission of the remake. Or, yeah, it was remake, yeah. So.
Unfortunately, we didn't get quite far enough for Yuffie to ditch her Moogle suit, but that's okay. That was coming. There was a boss. There was a boss after. There was a boss right after that. It was a pain in the ass. The sad part of it is
I have to say.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I have to say, of the remake version of Final Fantasy VII, I'm really enjoying it, even despite little changes. I mean, we're getting a lot more depth, and I'm actually finding I'm even growing more attached to certain characters because of the remake. I mean, like the original with my brothers and sisters. I mean, you know, because we kind of switched on and off playing different parts of the game. But and I did enjoy the story and stuff. But I don't know. The intermission, you know, I mean, I really like the intermission for the depth it gave us with the character there.
Well, that is the thing that they did with remake. They tried to give as many people as possible as much depth as possible. I mean, even Barrett got a coat of paint. Mind you, he still gets anytime I play the original Final Fantasy VII, he still winds up getting called Dickbag, and he's just gotten worse over time. So
I so misread Barrett's motivations and attitudes in the original, and when I played the remake, you know, it's just like. Everything suddenly made so much more sense, and it was so more relatable. And then,
but yeah, they stretched Midgar out from a couple 3 hours to like 40. If you were on super easy mode and doing very well. But we don't talk about the fight at the end. We don't talk about the final boss fight at the end of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Because we're going to wind up doing it again and again and again and again. But we're supposed to be getting. I think we're supposed to be getting the next one sometime in the next. We're supposed to be getting the next one sometime in the next couple of years. So we're gonna see how that actually turns out.
In other news,
out of curiosity's sake, whatever happened to Red 17 anyway?
Red 13, we found him in Midgar. We found him in Shinra Tower. Right along with the rescue of Aerith. That part went on just about the same way it did before.
Okay.
And I am looking forward to the end of the remake where we finally get to murder Hojo very, very, very dead. All of the dead. Because that critter, he needs to be all of the dead. Because I doubt whatever changes they're planning on making are going to free Hojo from his responsibility for being a dickbag. I mean, he's an even bigger bag of dicks than Barrett, and that's saying something. All right. But we still played right into Sephiroth's hands. Nah, I actually liked the whole Yuffie. I actually liked the Yuffie arc. That she got an actual story all her own was a good thing. Not we have to try and track her silly ass down in order to create to solve a problem that she created. And then taking her into the party after that kind of just sounded like adding insult to injury. But yeah, we're okay. You know what? We should probably just move on.
Yeah, probably wise.
All right, let me find. All right, let's move this up here because I forgot that I can do that. Hi. Alrighty then. So out with the old, in with the new.
Ooh,
Final
boy.
Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade gives way to at number 2, second best, also known as first loser. Everybody say hello to Tales of Arise. And I'm just going to do this thing here that I forgot to do earlier. That's okay. I'm pretty sure nobody's going to care too much. There we are. All right. Tales of Arise. Yeah, we're doing this all in static images today. Why? Because we can.
Yeah.
All right. This is the most recent. This was the most recent edition of the Tales series. Some folks hated it. Some folks hated it compared to, and all of them came up with comparisons to other Tales games when they did that. While they're talking about that, and yes, this is probably not the best of the Tales games, but it was still good in my opinion, it was still good in its own right. And this is one of those where I wound up I started playing and I kind of didn't stop for a few days. Not unlike when I got my copies of Final Fantasy VII Remake on the PlayStation 4 and Persona 5 Royal. Actually, Persona 5 did the same thing to me. So, All right. Let's have some thoughts. What did everybody else think of Tales of Arise? Because we actually did this one twice. Once for the demo and once for the main game.
Cool looking game.
Yeah, Tales of Arise is something that to be completely frank with you, is not really my cup of tea.
Oh, obviously. You're not an RPG. You're not the RPG dude around here. That's pretty much me. Sometimes I can talk.
No. It's for another reason. I play a healthy dose of MMOs and stuff like that, and somehow Tales of Arise just didn't check off my checkboxes.
Oh.
I'm not a big Tales fan either. Personally, I didn't see any. I can't speak much about it because I didn't see the stream, and I didn't play the game. So I can't say anything more about it other than the fact that I'm not really that much of a Tales fan anyway.
Well, this is one of the very few times where Bandai Namco actually released it in the East and the West on a number of different platforms all at the same time. That's actually very rare for them. Because the Tales team I believe that the localization for Arise was done simultaneously with its original writing. So, and I've actually had a chance to get a look at some footage from the Japanese version, and it seems like it went pretty well. The localization is fairly close. And Alpha as a protagonist, kind of not my favorite here. I've had better. I've seen better. But it's
Not many.
but it's actually one of the very few Tales games that actually had canon relationships. So yeah, the quest for Snogs. The quest for snogging.
I've seen better, but not many.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it on the same level as, I don't know, Symphonia, but as a game, as an RPG, and actually as a Tales game, it's fairly solid. And it was certainly better than most of the games we've seen this year. So, most of what we've seen this year was hot garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, that's not saying much. Most of what we've seen this year was absolute crap.
Yeah, there's been some games I've liked. I just didn't like most of them as much as I like this one.
There have been some good games for sure, but like most of the games that came out this year were hot garbage.
Well, this is my opinion of your
Some
opinion,
of them
right?
were fucking dumpster fire. Dun,
Oh.
dun, suspense.
There were a couple of characters I was not fond of, though. Starting with Dohalim. I hated that guy. You just want to reach through the screen and slap him. Ugh. Which means that he spent almost no time in combat. I did not take him with...
About him? Skwerl?
What?
What was it about him that you hated the most?
Just the attitude. If you take him as a person, I wouldn't want to associate with him too much. That's just kind of a thing. Law is his own issue, but we never do manage to escape the. We never do manage to quite escape the specter of Law's father for the entire game. Even when Alphen manages to take control of his own destiny, he's still looking back at that guy. And they knew each other for a whole week. And then you find out. Another thing that a lot of people like to complain about was the exposition dump between Phase 1 and Phase 2. Because it seemed like it went really, really, really quickly up until the end, when they actually managed to double the length of the game by stretching out the final couple of sections immensely. And that was not. A lot of people thought that was bad. That was a bad deal. Still, Tales of Arise is much better than a lot of the games we did this year.
Including the winner of the Hot Garbage Award. Dun, 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 suspense.
If you guys want to know who the winner of the Hot Garbage Award is, you're going to have to wait. Because we're nowhere near there. All right. So,
Can I guess what number one slot is? Because trusted CRB comic book resource and Sony and Kotaku, they would never lie to me, and they told me it was going to be The Last of Us 2. Am I right?
yeah, no, we didn't even bother covering The Last of Us 2. I had the opportunity recently here to pick up a copy for a couple of bucks, and I said no.
You told that game to fuck itself.
Repeatedly, yes.
But
Where's the dead
Kotaku would
skunk?
never lie to me.
Yeah. We don't talk about Shitaku because, well, it's Shitaku, and, The Last of Us 2 was supposedly stunning and brave, and no, it wasn't. It was The Last of Us Part 1, only hot garbage.
Oh!
In fact, it would, if we had actually gotten a copy and then talked about it, it would have been a serious contender for the Hot Garbage Award. I have seen a complete playthrough of this game, and I'm glad I didn't bother.
It's that bad, isn't it?
I guess we need a game that will help us manage these monsters of monster outlet that just scare us half to death.
All right, folks, here we go. Out with Tales of Arise and up with Monster Rancher 1 and 2 DX. Now, I will. Our best is here is our best because this is going to be a thing. I admit that I put my hands on a copy of this game, with some assistance from the Sanjin. Mostly on a level of nostalgia. I wanted to see how they were going to do this, and they did a better job than I thought they were going to. Unfortunately for them, all of the big mysteries for the game have at this point been solved, because I was part of a group that broke open the database and then was able to tear it down to figure out how it works. So we know. So there are active lists. There's an active list, especially for Monster Rancher 2, where we have the ability to predict easily what's actually going to come out from any given track. The sad part of it is actually boils down to 2 or 3 different variations of the same beastie. 600,000 different entries, a little over 600,000 different entries, and we have probably about 80 that actually represent most of it. All right. 2022, the year the Crossbell games start to get their official releases. Yes, we are going to see Zero no Kiseki this year, apparently. How you doing, Richard? Long time no see. I did between moments of having to hide under my desk because I lived downrange of of an Indian reservation, and those guys went nuts last night with the fireworks. Oh man, it's hateful, and a really nasty headache on top of it. Ooh. That was terrible. Terrible.
Let me guess, they shelled the shit out of your town.
No, they shelled the shit out of the valley I live in.
Yeah, fireworks were insane over here too.
Surprisingly enough, they weren't that bad, other than one of the stars that went into my tree.
Oh, not good. Okay,
Actually, a few of them went into the trees.
So what they actually did here was they took the original Japanese versions of Monster Farm, which was their name for it, and then retranslated it and made a lot of the same mistakes. It made a lot of the same mistakes.
You mean like calling a wolf a tiger?
Yeah. Well, the original name for the hares was actually ham, and that I had to ask that question, unfortunately, from people that know more about that than I do. But properly translated, it actually came out to something not unlike Fenrir. It should have come out. They should have come out Fenrir and not tiger. But hey, it's all good. Because things like that are kind of semi-charming. Except the tigers look like
It
fucking
came
wolves with
out
little
as-
horns on their
it
heads.
came
What
out
the
as
hell?
tiger, not fork nom nom.
It's one of
Okay.
the
I
reasons
don't
why
know
we
how
love
the hell you
Fenrir
get
so much.
Fenrir from. I don't know how the hell you get tiger from Fenrir.
It actually has more to do with mistakes that got made when the game was originally translated. If you're looking over the kana they used, it was an American, somebody from the West that is not as intimately familiar as they should be with it could easily make that mistake.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look like because the kana in question doesn't actually wind up looking like Fenrir. The correct translation would have been Fenrir. The sounds that they used in the kana wouldn't have come out that way no matter what. Well, okay, you could have gotten the right name, but it would have been difficult at best, especially if you didn't have access to the Japanese team.
I just wish game companies across the waves would communicate with each other more when trying to bring
Well, it
games
was
from the West over to Japan. Or,
in the 1990s. That was not actually that wasn't an easy thing to do because international long distance was fucking expensive for a start. And if you're a small localization team here, for example, or in the UK, then you probably don't have the kind of resources it would take to be talking to these people all the time. Never mind that those people are busy doing their own shit. So you have to be kind of careful when you do that. All right. So
yeah, it's just nowadays it's easy.
But yeah, they made a lot of the same mistakes, especially in grammar. I think it was actually the Japanese team that did the translating this time, because I don't recall seeing anything except Tecmo, Koei Tecmo / Tecmo in the listings. We are actually getting. The fan base is now rumbling for re-releases of Monster Rancher 3 and 4. Let's hope we actually get them. Because if they sell well, if these things are selling well enough, then we might actually get a Monster Rancher 6. And we kind of like to see some more love. But yeah, this was actually a direct port. This wound up being a direct port of the mobile version that was set up for made out of Monster Farm when they did the port to PC. And the PC port's actually not terrible. It's at least partially emulated, but it isn't actually but it's actually pretty good. They've done a fairly good job of. If it is in fact a complete emulator, then they've done a very good job of doing the emulation, because I've tried those the base games with a number of emulators and they don't work for shit. Combat in Monster Rancher 1 hurt a lot.
Until DX came along, right?
What?
Until DX came along, right?
Well, yeah, whatever it was they did it. They did a good job of it. So, all right. I think it's time for the worst of. How about you guys?
Yay!
'Cause
Let's get to covering the crap that was put out this year.
All right. And let's bring back the kitty cat, because some of this might actually be mildly controversial. If it is, this is my opinion of your opinion. Of your opinion. Absolutely. All right. So, in fifth best, it's not fifth best, it's best worst is really what it is. Mythbusters the game. We played the demo a few months ago, and pretty much nobody was impressed.
No, they shouldn't have made that. They just shouldn't have made it.
I'm not even sure it was that they shouldn't have made it, but it was released in a state that was much too rough, especially for a game with the Mythbusters logo attached to it.
Right.
If I was if I was Jamie, if I was the Heiny Man, I would have told them to go back and polish it. And since that man can polish a turd to the point where it actually shines, I should think he would have higher standards than this. He should have.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Skwerl, read Richard's
I actually went
comment.
back and watched the stream that involved Myth.
Oh! Worst of list, you can smell it from a mile away, yeah. I actually had high hopes for Mythbusters, I'm sorry. Now, what were you saying there, Ember?
I actually went back and watched the Mythbusters live stream last night, and it was so. I had never seen a game like Mythbusters that was so horrifically bad and underdeveloped that it was basically hot garbage. That being said, I don't think it's exactly worthy of the hot garbage award.
No, it's not. Believe me, we found a much better candidate for the Hot Garbage Award. The sad part of it is the Hot Garbage Award was actually unanimously voted on. Game's so broken, you wonder how it's possible the devs could possibly use the excuse that they didn't notice. Yeah, no. You're talking about aliens colonial marines there. Too bad it was released so long ago. Or it would be here.
Sorry, that's my music.
Oh, right then. Yeah, no, they got the basics down for what a Mythbusters show would look like, but I think they kind of went a little on the overboard side. And it was, in fact, not only that, but I was getting 30 frames a second on a 2060 card. That's no good. We can't have that. I mean, if you can give me 60 frames a second at 1920 by 1080, then I'm okay. If you can get close to there for the majority of it, that's fine. But if I'm getting a stock 30 frames a second, occasionally jumping up to 40, then we got a problem.
Oh God, I just noticed it has a Discovery label on it as well.
Yeah, well, Mythbusters was a Discovery
Well,
channel.
yeah.
Was a Discovery joint, so we could expect that.
They own Mythbusters. It's an IP of the Discovery Channel.
The fact is, this game was way too underdeveloped for Discovery standards.
And if I was a Heiny Man, I'd tell him to go back and put enough polish on it to get that turd sorted out. Richard! Oh no! Terrible. He says, no, making Bethesda look competent is not a good thing. Yes, you are. Okay. Ow.
Well,
okay.
Let's put it this way. Discovery did try to convince everybody that Megalodon existed. So.
Wow. Okay. So moving right along. I think
Correction. Discovery tried to convince everyone that Megalodon currently exists, not that it existed in the past.
Well, there was such a creature called Megalodon. Mind you, it turned out to be like 5 or 6 different fossils for like 5 or 6 different animals, I think, but don't quote me on that. Okay. So I think that's enough MythBusters for right now, guys. Really, I hope the full release of this game looks a shit ton better and works better than.
And
Otherwise-
not only that, but not have all that crap that you have to do stuff.
Yeah, I know, right?
The only other thing that
They said
they
put enough parts on it.
What was that, Thomas?
They had put enough parts on.
Amber? Thomas was trying to say something and you guys walked on him. What was it?
I was gonna say if the game isn't improved, they might have to change the name of the show to Myth Busted.
Oh, ow. Okay, let's move along here because I kind of want to. We kind of want to have I want to kind of have a little bit of time towards the end there for our wrap up. All right. Next up on our list, Lemnis Gate. This was a time traveling thing where every round in a in what amounts to a top-down or on almost an isometric shooter or combination isometric and first-person shooter lasts about 25 seconds. And you have 4 rounds in which to optimize whatever route you were going for during this particular period of time. It came with a long tutorial of absolute stupid. And then when you got into the actual game mechanics, not the first person mechanics, the actual game mechanics, it just got worse. And I was looking at the first person shooter jumping around and all the stuff, and I thought, oh God, this is terrible. I hate this already. And then they added insult to injury. I mean, what the hell was up with that? Yes, actually, you're right. This was trying way too hard to look cool, and it just didn't.
Time loops just don't work well as game mechanics.
And that's what we had. That's actually what we had here was several different time loops, wherein wherein both sides could see what the hell the other one was up to. And I swear that computer cheats. I swear, it cheats.
It does.
But you had an almost unlimited time to set up the next section. But once you actually once the clock started, you had once the clock started, you had to move in first person mode in order to get to whatever position it is you thought you thought you needed to be in, and you had a whole 25 seconds. So if it took you 25 seconds to get somebody in the position you wanted them in, then you were pretty well boned for that particular round, and then you got to see what it would look like eventually. If nothing else changed, it's like, God damn it.
Damn.
And it always
What
looked
was
like
this
the
game
computer was
called
reacting to exactly what you were going to do before you did it. But somehow or another, the computer managed to in its quote unquote 25 seconds to move almost all of its critters, as opposed to the one at a time I had to do because because shit takes too long.
Okay. What was it called again?
Lemnis Gate. When I thought,
Lemnis Gate.
honestly, I would have put this one further down the list, but I was outvoted.
Honestly, this game must have been at best so forgettable that I didn't even realize what its name was
Wow.
until just now.
I've forgotten most of the games that we've done this year. And in fact, I'm going to have to mark the ones we actually wind up doing at some point. So we're going to, at least for this coming year, I've implemented a record keeping system so we don't have as many problems this year as last. That's the way it is.
hell is this woman going?
Don't give the guy. Oh, don't give the guy Dev's new ideas. Hey, 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 hey.
Where is she going?
We don't know.
So,
What you're telling me is this game did a stupid.
This game did a number of stupids and all at the same time. Honestly, I'd rather have my teeth pulled out while watching Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who than play this game again.
Oh.
With my eyes forced open. Clockwork Orange style.
Ah!
oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm confused because she's going all around. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud again. This is what happens when I go without coffee.
Well, then
It's trying to integrate a chess, the chess mindset where you have to try and consider what everybody's move's going to be. You know.
well, agreed. And I'm actually not terrible at chess, but
Not the mechanics, but the mindset, you know, where you have to consider what, you know, when you move a pawn, you have to consider what every possible move your opponent's going to do. Well, in this, you know, with the time loop, you have to move in your 20 seconds in a way that compensates for what your opponent's going to do in the next 20 seconds. And yeah.
And the computer is a cheating bastard.
that too.
Yep.
Absolutely. that this game destroyed my September. I'm gonna say that now. I had thought that this game was gonna wind up much further down the list than it did. On top of that, as of right now, until January the 5th, it's half price, which should say something. Okay. All right, let's get on with our next abomination. and I have a quote here that we're going to do this that I'm going to do with this. Everybody listen. Hey! Pull that bus over to the side of the potential turnpike, all right? I want everybody off the bus with the shiny people over here and the happy people over there, okay? I represent angry, dog-toting, mean fucking people, all right? Sit down and shut the fuck up, focus home. AOC's gonna tell me how to vote. I don't fucking think so, okay? All right, Bus Simulator 21. As most of you will probably remember our sorry performance with this, we get to go and look at the bus. We get to buy the bus. They tell us how. They try and tell us how to drive the bus, and then they fail miserably right there. We got the bus to move a whole 6 feet, the entire game. It's like, no, we're not going to do that. The version we got for 19 and another one for 20. I think I got Bus Simulator 18 as well on the PlayStation 4. Did way better than this about the tutorial thing. Do you assume? Because we can't actually assume that the controls are all the same, and you change them. Even if we did assume that, you change them. Don't do that. Rude.
Yeah, you couldn't even get out of the parking lot.
I barely managed to get the front end of the bus out of the parking space. Fuck the lot. I was looking forward to trying to drive that shit off a bridge. Because why the hell not? We can do that. We're not killing anybody we're not killing anybody except ourselves. As long as there's nobody actually on the bus. And bus driving simulators, you're right, Richard, not a bad idea. Some of them have been okay. As long as you execute it well. And this was... Yeah,
Hot
no.
garbage.
Yeah.
This didn't...
I mean,
that
the
did
graphics
not
were
end
shiny.
well. And I was... And tempting as it was to acquiesce to some of the requests I got via email to try it again, I couldn't even look at it again. I just there. Just What the unholy fuck is this shit? Off the bus! Okay. What did everybody else think about it? Now that everybody's heard my 3-minute rant.
Bus
I was
Simulator
just
was more
bored.
fun than Bus Simulator 2021.
Yeah.
I want to
I
know
was
why they
very
want
disappointed
why they
you
want
couldn't
Bus
get out-
Simulator
you couldn't
2020. Why they want to
get
do a
that.
Bus Simulator every year anyway. It seems like you could do it every other year and maybe have some more development time. That'd be good. You know, it's like
I'll
not
tell you
receive.
why they do it every year. It's called cash money.
Actually, Bonu, according to my dad, it wasn't. He actually found it pretty easy. But then he did. But then that was his job for the longest time. So anyway, while we're at it, don't forget to do all the YouTubey things. Like, comment, subscribe, share with everybody you know, and those you don't. Let's go. Okay, more comments. More comments.
More comments?
More comments.
I was gonna say. I think everybody in here could actually get the bus out of the parking lot. We may not be able to drive it well, but I guarantee we could actually all of us in here could get the bus out of the parking lot.
Yeah, if we're talking about a real bus. This bus, I don't even know what the hell happened with that. But I'm not about to find out. I uninstalled the fucking thing immediately. I don't even have that game installed. Nor do I have Lemnis Gate or Mythbusters, the game, installed. In fact, none of the games on the worst list are actually still on my hard drives.
Some of them were removed with extreme prejudice.
Yes.
Yeah, I was so hoping that you'd redo what you did the previous year, because that was hilarious as shit.
Yeah, I know,
And
right?
You couldn't get out of the parking lot. Oh god, I was so looking for it because the graphics look really good in the game.
And
But if you can't drive, you can't even drive a bus.
this was another game that actually maxed out my video card. It maxed out the 6 gig 2060. It just hurt. And I was still only getting about 45. I was still getting at most 45 frames a second. Thoroughly unoptimized, and I was having issues even running OBS on top of it.
Oh wow.
There was that it was and that was at low settings. So yeah.
The next 3 games on our list are going to be crap, utter crap, and mega crap.
To really enjoy, a steering wheel controller, and yeah, I know, right? The good ones do cost as much. Actually, believe it or not, I've got a PlayStation 3. I've got one PlayStation 3 that, if I'm not mistaken, actually can be USB driven, but it doesn't have nearly the number of controls that's on that fracking bus. We hate that. Okay.
Before we go on, there's one thing I do want to say in its defense. Although it was a bus simulator, you did not have the ability to simulate the smell of a public bus.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. However, if you've got a new edition, if you're getting one of the new super cool TVs in Japan, you can actually taste the floor of the bus.
Really?
By licking the screen. Yes, that is a thing.
You can taste the floor of the bus by licking the screen.
Yep, that's a thing. That is definitely a thing. It wouldn't. We couldn't ride the short. We couldn't ride the short bus because they didn't actually have those. We're not doing schools. We're not doing school buses, unfortunately. This is supposed to be Metro Transit style things.
Skwerl, there's a question I have to ask.
Only if I can answer
Japan?
it.
Seriously?
What?
What the fuck, Japan? Seriously?
Yeah. It's actually no tornado. The lowest level is dog shit. You don't have to censor here. I don't do that. You are certainly welcome. You are certainly welcome to just type the words out there. The bad word filter has been turned off for the entire fucking channel. Because if I look at it this way, if I refuse to censor my own, that I should force you people to be to censor yourselves. Just don't do that.
But yeah, basically crap, buttercrap, and dog shit.
Oh no! Oh, then there's the hot garbage award, but we'll go with that. All right. So our next game turns out to be somewhat ironic. This is Do Animals Dream? And on the surface, it actually looks like this game is intended to be a push for veganism. According to the developers, a little later on, after they got a bunch of shit for it, they all turned out to be angry, gun-toting, meat-eating fucking people. Okay, Susan can kiss my ass. That's right. That's right, bitch. Kiss the whole ass. Start on one end and smooch your way all the way to the other end. You got a lot of work to do. I'm telling you right now. You're welcome to murder the channel. I've just moved to Odyssey and Rumble. That's all there is to it. Because I have accounts on both platforms. Although it turns out there's a limit to the number of videos that you can upload to Odyssey. That's kind of annoying. So out of 1,800 and some odd videos, I've only got about 100, 150 or so on Odyssey. That's not good. Do Animals Dream? Doesn't matter. Well, for the obvious part of this game, it turns out that it does. So, So you were the one to. Okay, Opal, you were the one to.
That's exactly what.
You were the one that nominated this game. You tell us why.
Exactly. Yeah, I was going to say, to what you said, that's exactly what my therapist told me.
I represent angry, gun-toting, meat-eating fucking people, alright? Sit down and shut the fuck up, Hillary. AOC's going to tell me how to vote. I don't fucking think so, okay? It is canceled for being insensitive, of course. Hey, if I'm going down, I'm going down. I'm going to go down in a blaze of glory doing this shit exactly the way I want to.
But as I was going to say about this game managed to succeed in making me feel guilty about normal things I do in a video game, I don't know how they did it, but they did it.
You see, and this is actually second worst. The way I was thinking about it, if we were going to have Do Animals Dream on the list at all, and I'd forgotten about it honestly, I would have swapped it with Lemnis Gate. That's just me. This is actually a vote for. This is actually a vote by the Snark Patrol, so. They can cancel me for being insensitive. I personally think vegans are silly.
Skwerl, you see, the reason Lemnis Gate was so low is Lemnis Gate wasn't traumatizing.
And this was. Okay. If that's the standard we're going for worst games, then yeah, I can see where you'd probably mark this out. The order makes more sense now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to take out. I'm going to take out my revenge due to my therapy bill.
Maybe you should just bill. Maybe you should bill the devs. That might be better. I don't know.
Are we going to talk about the worst of the worst?
Well, we saw. I'm still looking for more people's opinions for why we got the votes we did for Do Animals Dream. I don't remember.
What did you say this game was supposed to be again?
This game was supposed to be about angry. This game was designed by a bunch of angry, gun-toting, meat-eating fucking people. probably by way of annoying the shit out of us with the animals, they're making us want to fucking kill them. But it looked, but in terms of presentation, it made it look like an argument for veganism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in other words, PETA.
Yeah. Well, it looked like it looked like something that PETA would agree with, but unfortunately, it was the other PETA that was actually doing that. The ones that make the PETA sauce.
The PETA sauce?
Yeah, it's a barbecue sauce made by people eating tasty animals.
Yeah, but this one seems like a push by the ethical treatment of animals, guys.
Which, and by the way, those people completely lack ethics. How about we ask Ingrid about about that massive freezer under her headquarters?
Really?
Yeah. The only things they're good for is restaurant. The only things they'd be good for is an incredibly busy restaurant or a fucking morgue.
But the more dirt comes up about PETA, the less ethical they are.
Duh. That's the way it works.
Let me put it this way.
And Tornado, this is not news. This has been around. That information has been around since the 90s. It was actually on one. It was actually on one of their tax
I want to hear
returns.
what Thomas had to say.
What? Thomas?
I think Thomas
Just
had
say-
something interesting to say.
Yeah, the PETA have no kill shelters. Yeah, they kill. They kill a lot.
Oh yeah.
Don't they, kill a massive percentage of the animals admitted to them?
More than 90%.
Yeah.
And they had
And
here just to add insult to injury, they had a kill van get stopped, and its driver prosecuted.
Yep. They'll steal pets and kill them.
Oh, really? A kill van?
Yep, a van running around in, I believe it was South Carolina, that had been collecting animals and then killing them right there in the van.
Without even
they
giving them a
know that?
chance to be
Oh,
adopted,
wow.
Yep.
Oh
they
no,
know?
they don't believe in pets. They don't believe that pets should exist.
They also seem to
These
think
aren't
that cows
people
will
for
do just
ethical
fine on their own, except that the way modern cows are, the way that modern cows exist, they really can't. They can barely breed on their own.
Oddly enough, the kill van also had a cow catcher on.
Yeah, let's go with an armored grill on a PETA kill van. So yeah, I can see where this actually even came up on the worst of list. I still think Lemnis Gate would have been a better solution. Would have been better, but that's again just me. I opened this thing up to voting on the floor for the Snark Patrol, and what elements of the Snark Patrol turned up said this goes down here.
Oh, and man, oh god. Oh god.
What?
That's not fucking right.
What?
I'm reading an article relating to it.
Was it North Carolina or South Carolina? I know it was one or the other.
North Carolina.
Was it North? Okay, so I was wrong. It was North Carolina. I was in the right region, however. So we're gonna go with close enough for government work. You know, measure with micrometer.
Yeah.
Mark with chalk. Chop with axe.
I put PETA in the same category as the concept of communism. Promises you everything, gives you the gulags.
I know, right? They're throwing ketchup on a faux fur stole. That was hilarious. Or no, it was a coat. It was a faux fur coat. They threw ketchup on some poor unsuspecting starlet who was actually a PETA member. Turned out to be a PETA member. Who then billed a PETA for the faux fur coat and revoked her membership. Because
Holy
goddamn that
shit,
shit was expensive
96%
apparently.
in 2011.
What?
96% in 2011. Holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Yup. And this is the people for the ethical treatment of animals. Not to mention the nice lady that is Ingrid Newkirk's vice president, or second in command, or whatever the hell you want to think of her, who has to take insulin because diabetes derived from pigs. Her needing to be able to do the work is more important than the lives of the pigs that were sacrificed in order to make the insulin she needs to stay alive.
Fuck that organization.
And people still give them money. I have no idea why. I want to know that.
People love hypocrisy. People just love hypocrisy.
Well, I don't think Pete has ever been anything but hypocrisy. So that's really just kind of a thing.
And that's
Yeah,
why people donate. People love hypocrisy.
Well, we were honestly of the opinion that this thing was PETA driven until I went back and I looked at it. I kind of looked under the hood after the devs sounded off about about what they were actually trying to deliver, and I got it.
Oh.
We hate that we are not vegans. We want you to hate these creatures. We want you to hate all the creatures. Which is an attempt to turn us into mass murderers, but hey, you know what? Shit happens. Dudes in dreamland anyway. So, how's about are we ready to move on, or does somebody else want to rail against PETA?
I think we railed enough. You railed enough.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, moving on. We actually
Unlike
only
our
have.
exes, let's move on.
Alrighty then. So from second worst to worst. Not quite ultimate loser. Human guys. We covered this one on Wednesday, and it was universally panned in during the meeting yesterday. We had an all but one person vote for this one to wind up on the list. I did not, and that was actually just from the basic line. Before any other voting, everybody submitted their top 5 and worst 5 lists. And then I put them into it, and then I combined them up, the number of people that said this thing for this thing. And we wound up with this one getting all but one vote because I was the one that did not nominate it. I was content to not speak of it, honestly. And for this one, I think I'll turn it over to Ember.
May God have mercy on our souls.
Okay. So, how is the best way to describe this holy shit travesty of a game? Do I go, am I supposed to go in, never mind the fact that there, in the very beginning of the game, there appears to be a shooting / home invasion area.
Which is traumatic enough.
But which is traumatic enough. But the fact that a woman was essentially, how do I put this without terrifying the entire audience? Do I just rip it off like a Band-Aid squirrel? What do I do?
I would, yeah, I think I would do that. Or I can do it for you. I know exactly what you're gonna say, so.
I'll do it. So we come to a scene in a forest where a woman had been essentially crucified to a fucking tree, stripped naked and crucified to a fucking tree, and had her heart removed from her chest.
Actually, that for what I got out of the game, that had been done post-mortem. She was shot dead first. They put a hole in the back. They put a small hole in the back of her head, then crucified her and took and removed the heart. And how dare I be insensitive? Of course. If I'm going down, I'm going. I'm going down my way. Susan can hate me if she wants to, and she can suck my colon completely clean.
I was actually getting that. Yeah. Apparently this all happened to her body after she was killed. As Skwerl said, they felt the need to put a bullet in her.
Well, if you put a bullet in her first, she won't move around so much, or object to having her heart pulled out.
Yeah. Yeah, so at least they were kind enough to kill her before they fucking crucified her. But still, this is so fucked up and just absolutely... Oh my God. It is so fucked up and twisted and dark that even Skwerl couldn't take much more after we figured out what had happened.
Get this shit off the screen.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hey, it's even written in Russian. Now this was actually the cleanest screenshot I could find on Steam. So
yeah, because dear.
Honestly, Ember, I was much more concerned with the reaction that was going on in your domicile at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did upset a few people, and I thought I had given up enough warning ahead of time. Apparently, that wasn't the case. What I probably should have done was put another warning on it, and then moved it to last as opposed to trying to get it out of the way.
Right. Yeah, that is.
But just think, we still have the hot garbage award coming up. Oh boy!
Time for the hot garbage award.
No, I do want to say one thing about the game. It's kind of hard to precisely put it into words. It was a Hill had a gaming division that was run by Phil Fish and had a game directed by Tommy Wiseau.
Oh. Ow.
With
Ow.
help from Quentin Tarantino.
Actually, believe it or not, this game was supposed to be inspired by the Cthulhu mythos and kind of the way Lovecraft liked to do their shit. Unfortunately, Lovecraft didn't tend to want to do that kind of sequence. Not to mention that there's some people that turned out to be very sensitive to the fact that the protagonist and her partner were FBI. Oh, look, feds. We hate those. So, yeah, I got a bunch of hate mail for that. I got a bunch of hate mail for that. All right. So, who wants to move on to the Hot Garbage Award?
I do.
Me.
Yes, please get us the fuck out of here.
Okay.
Let's talk. Oh.
All right. For the Hot Garbage Award, we actually went with something a little more conventional in terms of hot garbage. Originally, this award was referred to as the Platinum Poo because, yeah, we couldn't stop at a golden poo or or the golden crocoduck or some other such thing. We absolutely had to do something completely new. And this game here, yeah, that was a thing. And okay, so how about Celine's Nightmare, folks? This game here, holy crap. Everybody bitches about Final Fantasy 13 being a pretty corridor. This was kind of like that with all of the invisible walls and shit. Except the invisible walls in Final Fantasy 13 actually made a tiny bit of sense. This just has the invisible walls to have the invisible walls. And this was the best looking screenshot for everything that was actually on Steam. This was the best looking. Period. Okay. So, pretty hallway, not so much. On top of that, we don't talk about the way the almost lack of control surfaces. We had a great time snarking about this game, but the game itself, yeah, not so much. This almost rises to the level of thoroughly repeated asset flip. Almost.
Yeah.
Opal, you were the one to actually nominate
worse
this
than
one.
that.
Why don't you carry on?
I was gonna say the way I would describe this, except for position 1, it took the worst elements of 2, 3, 4, and 5, and put it all together in a game.
Ooh.
Like, just, bad execution from Mythbusters, dumb concept from Lemnis Gate, non-functional gameplay from bus simulators, and I don't know, I just found the story just hateful.
Whoa. Time out. We're going to talk about that bus again here in a minute. This game had a story? Because if it did, it completely escaped me. And I'm the guy that looks for story.
Guys. See you later.
All right, catch you later.
Well, it was
I've seen all the stuff.
It had a week.
Bye-bye.
It had a very weak story in it. Poor explanation.
No, Lemnis Gate. Oh,
Wow.
God, no. Yeah, no, we're not talking about Don Lemon here. Worst journals of the year, Don Lemon. Worst journals of the year. We're not talking about Don Lemon and some of the things and some of the things he seems to like to do to random bartenders. Which he's actually going to trial for, I might add. So, a great big steaming pile of hot garbage, which has probably been rewarmed several times in the microwave. And then had the extra bacteria put down. We get some of that nylon eating bacteria. Maybe that'll help it. Just wow.
Or one entree from Chipotle.
What?
Oh, God.
Or what?
One entree from Chipotle.
Oh, no. Actually, I've discovered Chipotle is somewhat better than the thing. Best known as Toxic Hell. extra points if anybody can figure out what the hell I'm actually talking about. He's popularly known here here in my home, at least, as Toxic Hell, and I'm going to popularize that if it even if it kills Opal. It might kill Sanji too. Although it probably wouldn't take very much to kill Sanji. He seems to be pretty well dead most streams anyway.
Our food and sadly the problem is our food and safety up in Kanukistan it is a little stricter. So usually most of your franchises that come up here end up being better.
I don't know. Toxic Hell's gotten worse over the last few years. Not that I could. Not that I
Actually,
would.
our Taco Bell's not.
Even if I could afford to eat there, and right the moment I can't, I wouldn't want to.
Yeah. The Taco Bell up here, where I am, is, I mean, it's okay. It's just a little bland. It's a little plain.
Yeah, well, that actually comes from that part actually comes from overregulation. Then the bean burrito in Toxic Hell
it
tended
sucks
to.
when you can't use pink slime.
Oh. Okay, you now owe me a new monitor, sir. I've got coffee all over this one.
Well, I didn't quite hear that.
But yeah, Celine's Nightmare did everything it possibly could, and did it all wrong. I mean, we're
that
supposed
one
to
graduated from the Digital Homicide School of Game Development.
Yeah, no, they didn't graduate. I'm pretty sure they failed. I'm pretty sure they flunked out. Mind you, this was supposedly a freshman effort, so take that for what it's worth. Which in my little brain is not very much.
Hey, if I put my finger paintings out on the art market, everybody is quite justified in calling and saying I paint no better than a kindergartner.
Well, but even then, you're still doing better than Hunter Biden, and he gets 500 grand a pop.
Well,
I've seen his quote-unquote artwork. That's just terrible.
In his defense,
I'm not trying to funnel money.
he is a crack addict.
Well, on top of that, he didn't do 3/4 of it. From what I hear, he actually bought the paintings and the rights to them, and then sold that.
Oh.
Or he bought the rights and made duplicates or some shit. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was Joe's money that did that. But yeah, or at least Joe was at least part. It was at least part. It had to have been at least partially Joe's money. And we don't talk about Joe's daughter Ashley, or why she doesn't talk to him anymore, spending as much time as she does in psych wards. All right. Any other commentary about Celine's Nightmare?
As I say, if you decide to play this game, Celine's Nightmare will become your nightmare.
On top of that, I think it's under $2 right now.
And even if you have the $2, you're still overpaying.
It's 69 cents out of what was originally a $2 game.
Well, you're still paying $5 too much for that.
Well, technically, they paid me to do this thing, so these guys have actually put out another game on top of it. Let me see. This one here is actually their sophomore game. Their first game was released January the 5th of last year, and this one on July the 12th.
Okay.
Hopefully
as I
their next
keep
game
trying
is
to-
better. Oh, sorry.
Ember.
Okay.
Go for
As
it.
I keep trying to say, just looking at the screenshot, it looks like absolute garbage.
Oh, it gets worse.
Looks like that you don't have imagine if it looks like this, you can only imagine what the rest of the game will look like, and B, how the entire game is going to play.
All right, let me share a screen here real quick. I'm gonna swap back here,
Sure.
and you guys are gonna want to watch the screen itself. Let's get the window capture over here to stop that. Stop it. I'm going to turn the sound off because you are going to see momentarily. Where'd it go? Right here.
As long as you don't show us Jack Starfish, we're good.
Give me a second. I gotta get the right thing. Doop. Wow. It's actually not. Let me do this real quick. Let's do a display capture instead. And we want that one. All right. So here we go. Let's just get this rearranged here a bit. This is actually this is a video feed from Steam. I've turned the sound off. It's not really that important anyway. At least not in this case. You guys ready?
Let's have
Today,
Yep.
1 minute and 10 seconds. It's being choppy. This is not the video feed is actually it hasn't actually completely loaded up yet. There you go. She's carrying a spear at this point. We never actually found the spear while we were playing it. And this is actually their promotional material. Why it's paused like that, I don't know.
It's an April Lemnis Gate simulator.
Let me pause that again here. And now we're going to replay. Stick!
How much did they pay you to play this game, Skwerl?
$2. Because that was the cost. That was the release price of the game.
Oh God, Celine. They put as minimal effort into Celine's appearance as possible, didn't they?
Honestly, yeah. I'm pretty sure she's an unmodified asset, or a barely modified asset. I found most of this stuff on the Unreal Store. This game is so bad that even Steam doesn't want to do this. Come on.
Yeah, I can do. This won the Hot Dogs Award.
Ah! Who the fuck? Oh.
At least the one. At least it's not a disturbing game.
This game is so bad.
This game was disturbing enough just for the fact that it existed in the first place.
Yeah, but it didn't have human Geist levels disturbing.
Well,
or a bird and cage levels of disturbing.
That's not saying much, Opal.
Yeah, you haven't seen this game, and you don't want to see a bird and cage.
Well, bird and cage actually made sense. This just doesn't.
No, that's the thing. This just doesn't make sense.
This made no sense.
That's
This
what
thing
I
made no
said,
sense
you know.
whatsoever.
That's what I found with that, and that's why I connected it with Do Animals Dreams, because a lot of Animals Dreams just did not make sense to me. I'm like, Jesus, like,
Maybe the developers should just stop making games. Who made Celine's Nightmare should just stop making games altogether.
Nah, they might actually
they
get
improve-
somewhere eventually. But
if they improve, then sure, you know, it's just.
This
can't
was
recommend
terrible.
This game to anybody.
this was terrible. Terrible.
I just can't recommend. You know.
That was terrible. That was a terrible, terrible thing, you knucklehead.
Yeah, just so you know, my connection is weak.
We've
My
noticed.
connection to the mic is very weak.
It's been noted. Trust me on this one. Yeah, no, Celine's Nightmare, not my idea of fun.
I doubt it could be anyone's idea of fun. Well, anyone who hasn't been lobotomized, that is.
Oh! Ow!
She decide.
I think the Marquis de I think even the Marquis de Sade would quail at this. The other video is actually slightly better, but you get to look at a completely different segment of the game. You're fighting some ghosty like things.
Yeah, I'm having no issue with Squirrel streams.
Yeah.
His stream's just perfect. It must be your connection.
Well, that's what he said. His
Yeah.
Yeah, it's buffering on my end.
Probably, yeah. No, we seem to be doing okay here. We've dropped a whole 70 frames the entire live stream, and all of those the front end. It looks like.
And I'm running through a VPN, so it's perfect on my end. The only problem I have with this with the stream is that button has stopped.
Is what button stopped? Which button is that?
The button has stopped.
Ooh.
The one that's supposed to be going at Mach 2.
Oh. That's terrible, awful, terrible. Stop. Right there. All right, we just had an owlbear visit. I don't know what happened to our regular pupstraction, but she's off somewhere doing her own thing. So we are right on time to be ending this thing. So that's actually I consider that good. All right. So anybody there in the chat or agree, disagree, hate me for not liking Lemnis Gate or what the hell ever? Speak now or forever hold your bits. Come on, guys. We got 5 minutes. Let's have it. Give it to me. That includes you people. That includes the rest of you folks. You know, the Snark Patrol. Or what's actually still here of it. Or which part, the parts of it at least that are still here.
I'm fine
I'm
with all the
good,
choices.
Squirrel.
I mean,
I'm good.
I thought it was a good mix. I thought it was a good mix because, you know, it was hard to choose the top. You know, I mean, I was bumping them around like crazy until I had to sacrifice a few. So.
But I agreed with you on Intermission. That was actually a pretty good game. The thing is, the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters did not actually wind up on the list at the end. But we're still gonna but that's okay. We're still gonna be able to deal with we can deal with those next year, or well this year.
Number 6, yeah.
Because
number
6 is coming out in February, the 22nd, I believe.
Cool.
Pretty sure that was the announce.
Maybe I'll
Hello,
take a little
Pup
money and buy that for my birthday.
Jackson.
Maybe I'll take, yeah, or what I should say, my non-existent birthday.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah, I-
kind of have to have one first, true. Sigh. So yeah, Celine's nightmare. I don't. You know what? Honestly, I don't. It's freezing in here right now, and I still don't think I'd have. I still don't think I'd put that. I don't think that would actually be at Celine's nightmare. At Celine's hot garbage award would be a. As winner of the hot garbage award would be a good way to try and warm it up. So
Probably not. It's not that kind of hot garbage. Oh. Are there any games you guys are looking forward to next year? I mean,
we're gonna get Final Fantasy VI
I have to
finally
look up.
yeah, that one I'm looking forward to.
because Squeenix didn't manage to keep it.
Ooh, My Time at Sandrock.
Yes, My Time at Sandrock is coming, and I'm hoping to have a copy of
Yeah.
it. I put in for it. We'll see what happens.
Okay, my connection to the
Well, you're sounding stronger. How's that?
It's been working out.
well, yeah, my connection to the thing is in the green now. Now it's in the red.
Well, yeah.
Actually, My Time at Sandrock still has seems to still have its demo available, or may still have its. No, it doesn't. Well, they used to. Oh, that's right. They took it down a while back, but it looks like the two games take place side by side, so they're just in different parts of the world. And we got some serious characters going on with My Time at Sandrock, so we're looking forward to seeing that one. And I think it was
Yep.
I
That one
almost
very much.
certain that Pathia was planning on releasing it later, a little bit later on, because the beta testers have already got it. Those people who
Yeah.
they're looking right now. They're looking at spring of 2022. So we're going to see that. All they're waiting for right now is certification from is I think it's the console certifications.
Ah, yeah. Well, I like their My Time at,
All right.
at Porsche.
Yeah, My Time at Porsche was actually pretty good.
Whatever. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
We're not
Thomas,
gonna. They're
any
not gonna
games
make
you're
it.
looking
They're
forward
not
to?
gonna make January, but they'll get over it. And all the early access keys have been delivered. Woohoo!
I like the Sandrock makes a hard man crumble.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, they're currently waiting for. They're currently waiting for whatchamacallit. I think they're
Elder
actually
Freeze over.
what? They're waiting for
Elder Freeze?
They're waiting for Sony. I think they're waiting for Sony and No Friendo. Or is it? No, it's Soapy and No Friendo. There you go. Because I don't want to grab. I don't want to steal too much anyway from Raging Golden Eagle. So it's now Soapy.
Okay.
All right. We're actually starting to founder here a little bit, so I think it's probably about time we wrap this up.
Yep.
We will be back again we will be back again on Wednesday, because given that today is Saturday. We'll be back again on Wednesday with some more stuff and maybe some things, and who knows, maybe we'll just decide to do a lazy fuck it stream, because that actually sounds like fun now. Especially since we missed I was actually all set. I was actually all set to do a stream on Christmas, and we didn't wind up. And I didn't wind up doing one. So, because frankly, I didn't have any. I honestly here we didn't have a whole lot better to do. So, I might have been able to con Opal into helping me, but I wouldn't have gotten very far with Sanji or Master Christopher or a few others. And I know what Ember was up to.
Well, you know those bed springs do need to be tested.
Not exactly what you think.
Not exactly what I think? Well, that's entirely too bad. Someone needs to help you rectify that. All right. All right. So, that's going to be it for us today.
Oh, Jesus.
Back on Saturday. What? I don't want to. Do I want to know what happened? You can tell me later, Ember. It's okay.
Let's just wrap it up.
All right.
Nothing bad happened. I just ate dinner.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do all the YouTube things. Like, comment, subscribe, share with everyone you know, and dump the magic bot out of the thing. I'm just gonna remove this magic bot here at the very end of the chat because message deleted. We're not gonna don't touch that. Okay. So between now and the next time we see you, be safe. Best end.
And for 2022, let's make Half-Life 3 number one. Let's make number one.
Again this time because we don't actually have Half-Life 3.
Let's just get it the first time.
All right, folks. Seizure.